Hey folks, welcome to another episode of Rennch. On today's show, I'm going to show you my DIY paint booth, and if all goes well, do the final 2 coats of primer before painting the Blasphemy build. Well, this is a very exciting day here at the Rennch garage. If you are brand new to the show, I'm Michael. I'm building the car. I've been building it for 2 years and doing all the body work. So if you want to subscribe, I'm just about to paint the thing, which is super exciting. So since you've last seen me do the 3D printed 911R LED lights, I've been doing a ton of just getting the car ready for these coats of primer. Lots of sanding, lots of body work, a little more welding, just like little fixes that I want to do before I get the final 2 thick coats of primer that I can start block sanding. So if you'd like to support the show, you can go to rennch.com/high5, which will bring you a litany of options on how you may support me and this build. The primary one is the Amazon wish list, where I have a whole bunch of things that I use to build this very car. So if you are a participant or have participated in the past, thank you. The other thing you can do is just share this channel and comment and like on this video, so I get a little algorithm love. Now, after I've done most of the work on the car, I've been working on a DIY paint booth. And I have a 4-car garage here at my place outside of LA. And I've taken half of the garage and lined the entire thing with plastic. I've stapled some wood to the bottom of the plastic sheets so they weigh the plastic down. I've got the garage door cracked just a couple of inches. And then I have 2 filtered box fans exhausting the fumes out the door. Now, this is just primer, so it's not that big of a deal. I could have done it outside like I did the first couple of coats. You know, obviously it all gets sanded, it's no big. But I kind of want to try this as a test run for if I want to do the rest of the paint job inside the garage. And obviously, I don't want the paint overspray on this side getting on the gray ghost. I want to limit the amount of sanding and Bondo dust, which has just gotten all over everything. So this is my cool little DIY paint booth. Less than $100 from Home Depot and Harbor Freight, and hopefully it does the job. Now, my buddy Henry, who's been on this show before, down from Costa Mesa Collision in Costa Mesa, California, they do all kinds of restoration, and he's a real car guy, so when he paints a car, he really gets it. He brought over some of Sherwin-Williams' best DTM, or direct-to-metal, primer, which is NP75. So along with the reducer and the hardener, he brought this, which are these automotive refinish products. These are also Sherwin-Williams, and they're like these little etch wipes. It's the very last wipe you give the car before you prime it. Now, I've already vacuumed the whole thing. I've wiped the entire car down with Windex just to get most of the Bondo dust and sanding dust out of the primer. So I will do this last. So the only thing that might be a bit of a wild card in this video is that I'm getting low on hardener for the primer. So I'm really hoping I can get 2 complete coats on the entire car. I do have the right nozzle. I actually picked up a Home Depot paint gun that has the proper 1.8 millimeter tip. So I'm looking forward to it being like a thicker coat than I did the first time around, which is a 1.4 mil tip. And I could really tell as I was sanding it and just doing kind of the big body work that I've been doing over the last couple of episodes, I could tell the primer is kind of on the thin side. So I'm really hoping that this time around I'll have a nice thick coat of primer on the main panels so that I can block them properly and get it as smooth as a baby's bum. All right, so I think I have everything just about ready. Let me show you guys the paint booth. All right, here we are inside the paint booth. What I've done here is just, hi Ben, you can't come in here in a minute. I've taken some wooden, Ben, geez dude. So what I've done here is I've taken some wood and used it to weigh the bottom of the panels down. And then it basically just goes around the perimeter of the garage. This will overlap. And I'll probably do a little taping on that to make sure that it stays closed. And then the exhaust, I've got 2 box fans with filters and they are pushing air that way. And then I've got a little crack in the garage door here to, I guess, theoretically, make the air move that way. I have no idea if that's the right way to do it, but that's what I'm doing. So the car has had all the major body work done. And, you know, of course, it looks like a total mess right now, but hopefully when the coats of primer are on, it will be smooth as a baby's bum, as I mentioned. So I'm going to do a couple last minute things. I'm going to tape up that little piece there, and then I'm going to give the entire car a wipe down with those wipes, and then I think we're good to go. I just found a bunch of adhesive here from like duct tape, probably from when I taped my tail on. So I've got to deal with that real quick. All right, back to our regularly scheduled program. All right, guys, I am ready to roll here. Probably gonna have to switch to voiceover because my neighbors are having a party, and if YouTube hears music in the background, they will demonetize this video. Not that this video makes a lot of money. So once again, we are 5 parts primer, 2 parts reducer, 1 part hardener, and I hope I have enough. This is the face of someone who blew it. I totally blew this primer job. So I made a number of errors. First and foremost, when I started spraying, it was going on like really dry. Like it was atomizing in the air. And it made a very thin, sort of like textured, almost orange peely kind of coat on the car. And so I just kept changing like my distance and my timing to try to get that like nice, smooth, buttery flow. And it never happened. So I kind of panicked because I didn't want to have to clean the gun. I did a bunch of lazy things, okay? Number one, I didn't want to take the time in between coats to like re-clean the gun. And I didn't want the primer that was like in the gun to get hard so the gun would like seize up. So I just went with it. And then the finish that I got just wasn't what I wanted. So easy enough. You say, well, no big, just put another coat on. Well, I can't because I'm out of hardener. And the hardener's like $160 for one little bottle of it. And I'm like, yeah, so I totally blew that. The other thing I did, out of pure laziness, or really ignorance, because I didn't think it was going to go as far as it did, was I didn't mask off. There's things that I just bought, like turn signal switches and my hub, my steering wheel hub, that I didn't take out of the car, and I didn't have anything masked. So they totally got primer all over them. So that means I'm going to have to use lacquer thinner and completely clean them up. And it was all completely preventable. I did not need to do that. I could have just taken the stuff out. I could have masked the car. It's weird though, like when you're in the moment and you got the compressor running and you got the paint flowing, you got the mask on, there's like a weird pressure involved. And so I just didn't. And I think it was pure laziness. There are some good things. As it turns out, it actually looks better than I thought it was going to by the time it's dried. So that was good. Secondly, my little paint booth and filter setup worked great. In fact, I'll show you the filters. They're very dirty. So they definitely exhausted the primer. They did what they were supposed to do. So let's go over the car and I'll show you what went down. On the positive side, the bodywork, guys, looks really great. Like the body really flows. I think most of the work I did was pretty damn stellar. So I'm proud of how that turned out. There's still a couple of spots, but this primer should be like this surface, which is this nice gloss. Unfortunately, it's got so much texture on it. So I'm going to have to do something about that. Scuff it up, give it a repaint. It was especially thin here. I don't know if you can tell the texture, but it's like really textured. And right here, it's really nice and smooth. And I've got runs in other places. Here's my stupidity on my turn signal and on my hub. Come on, dude. Amateur hour. But the flares look really good. I see a little bump there I'm going to have to deal with. Do you see that right there? You see that? You see that? Right? There's a little bit. There's a little dent right there that I feel. One of the cool things about this particular primer, though, is that it goes on glossy. And that means you can actually see your body lines, which overall look pretty darn good. I've got a couple spots I've got to deal with, but yeah, so this is it. I'm a little disappointed with the overall result. I really wanted like 2 really thick coats that I could just blast and be really good, but I've got more work to do. I've got another full coat I'm going to have to do on this bad boy. Look at this stupidity. This doesn't even need to be on. I did get the door jambs, and they came out really good considering all the body work and stuff I had to do on them. I still need a little bit of help in a couple of corners, but overall they came out great. Look at my fans. Look how dark they are. So they actually did what they were supposed to do. And I've got just a couple of spots. See if I can make the light. See that right there? See that little thing? I've got to deal with that. I feel that. But overall, like I would say 90% of the body work came out really great. So I will block sand the car again with whatever grit they tell me I should. Once again, trying to flatten it out as much as humanly possible. And then, God willing, put a really nice coat of primer on. And I don't know, maybe I'll begin to block it, or I may just take it straight to Costa Mesa Collision to do like the final block sanding before painting. I'm not exactly sure yet. But either way, we're closer now than we were a week ago. I will learn my lesson. I will figure out how to set up my paint gun a little better, and I will stop being such a hack when it comes to painting. So that way it'll be better for me. I should have been able to use that 1 gallon of primer on like 3 cars. And meanwhile, I'm using like 1.5 gallons on 1 car. So neither here nor there. Happy about my paint booth. That worked great. I'm going to leave it mostly set up because sanding, it's going to keep the fumes. It's going to be actually really good for sanding. And I'm going to keep plugging away on my own skill set. But I hope you learn from me. One thing I will say is if you can, I really wish that I had a, I've got like old door skins and stuff outside. I wish that I had brought those in and done like a little test spray and really dialed my gun in with the primer in it. I did it with water, which is of course much thinner, and you can't really tell how it sets up unless it's paint. So I've got my Home Depot gun. I just haven't really dialed it in yet, and paid the price today. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video of me being a terrible primer person. One very cool thing is if you've made it this far, my time-lapse video, my 1-year restoration time-lapse video is about to hit 1 million views, which is awesome. It was really the thing that made this channel go from like 1,200 subscribers to 12,000 in like a month. So that one video itself, I think, is responsible for something like 7,800 or 7,900 subs, which is really cool. Anyway, if you haven't seen it yet, it is the first video on this channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. This car's about to get painted. It's about to get assembled. It's going to be awesome. And I appreciate you guys. All right, I'll talk to you soon.